thinking about it, has Jaron Boots Ennis fought? Does he even have a Amir Khan caliber fighter on his resume?
What?
Does he have a Victor Postol caliber fighter on his resume? He damn sure don't have a Sean Porter or Kell Brook caliber fighter on his resume.
What?
These are all people that Terence Crawford has fought. You see what I'm saying? And beaten. I'm not even gonna say ERROL Spence because that was his last fight, and we know that was a pound for pound clash right there. So I'm gonna leave him out of it. So yeah, he's fought a Sean Porter person on his resume. Does he even have a Jose Benavidez Jr. Jose Benavidez Jr. caliber fighter on his resume?
But wait, there's more.
Yuriorkis Gamboa! Yuriorkis Gamboa! Yuriorkis Gamboa! This man, Boots Ennis, doesn't have anybody on his resume. Matter of fact, he has Thomas Delorme. I mentioned him before on Boots' resume. Him and Terence Crawford have that in common. I remember that distinctively, and because I like that fight between him and Terence Crawford. I think Terence Crawford got him out of there in like the 5th or 6th round. I can't remember, maybe the 7th. He got him out of there. He knocked him out like the 5th, 6th, or 7th round. I can't remember. I want to say the 5th, but don't quote me. And I know Jaron Boots Ennis, I believe, got him out of there the 1st round. 6 years later.
From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.
Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Dr. PGNGM. Praise God to get money. Back for another YouTube video. Banger, man. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Y'all know what time it is. The doctor's in the house. Back with Engineers to the Streets, bringing you all the boxing latest, hottest news, man. You know what I'm saying? Being real honest about it. Please, before we get to the video, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already, man. Smash the bell as a notification is telling you, man, as well. So you get notified when I drop another YouTube video banger. Let's get to the topic at hand. Oh, before we do that as well, man, come check out, you know, we did a live commentary. I still have that little post up right there at the bottom screen there. It was O'Shea Foster versus Nova. It was a good fight, man. I was more excited to see Bruce Shushu Carrington, and he did not disappoint with that stunner, brutal KO of Taurus, man. But yeah, in this video, I'm here to talk about Terence Crawford. You know, the WBC President Mauricio, he has said something about Terence Crawford. You know, he was interviewed, I believe it was on the Pro Boxing Fans Network. So we gonna check out what he said. You ain't gotta listen to me, you ain't gotta believe what I say. Just check it out yourself. Let's bring it up right here. Get rid of that. Boom. And let's take off.
Holder at welterweight, Boots Ennis as the other one. Has he got any mandatories coming up, or what's the situation with him?
No, at this moment,
He's talking about the mandatories. He was obviously referring to Terence Crawford. That's what the question is. That's what the question entails. So that's what we're about to get into right now. So he said no mandatories right now.
We were led to believe that there was going to be a rematch with Spence, but I don't believe that will happen. He's undisputed, without a doubt, the best welterweight.
Right. So right there, as you can see, he has seemingly said that, you know, the ERROL Spence and Terence Crawford rematch is not happening. So it seems like that is done with. They're gonna move on as most of us expected. You know, shout out to ERROL Spence and Terence Crawford. That was a great fight. I do not want to see it again because I think Terence Crawford will win handily, even if it's at 154. But at the same time, if that's what the contract says, man, if you're contractually obligated to have the fight, man, then you must oblige, man. Be a man of your word and go fight that man if that's what he wants. You know what I'm saying? I would watch it again because, you know, I respect them both as warriors because that fight did not have to happen. It was basically on them, not the promoters, to get it done. Particularly ERROL Spence, because it was documented, you know, with his injuries. And even more so than that, it was more documented that he wanted to move up to 154, but he said, you know, like 5 years prior or something like that to Terence Crawford that he would have that fight with him before he departed that way. So, you know, so shout out to them, shout out to these warriors, man. You know, but it's funny though because I wanted to bring up in addition to that, you know, a lot of people are like, okay, bet he has to fight, you know, especially with Canelo saying that he's not going to fight Terence Crawford because he feels like he's in the catch-22. But I kind of agree with him because if he beats Terence Crawford, people are going to say, oh, he's supposed to beat him, he's too small. If he loses, then people are going to call him even a bigger fraud than he already is. So they already claimed for him to be. I don't think Canelo's a fraud, but, you know, I do understand. I try to be not sympathetic because they don't feel bad, you know, they choose to fight, but empathetic. I try to be empathetic to them as far as this is their job and they want to make money, so they want to reap the most rewards out of it. And I will say this at the very beginning before y'all get on my head. I'm not making the excuse for Terence Crawford. I want to see Terence Crawford fight Boots Ennis. However, let me repeat that again, just like I did for Canelo. I want to see Terence Crawford fight Boots Ennis. However, I am not a child. You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of you all act like little kids in the candy store. They can't get what you want or something, throwing tantrums and all this stuff and making up these narratives. Bro, Terrence Crawford said that he has been abundantly clear. He has been adamant that he wants to get the most money out of his few paydays that may be left because he is 36 years old.
Damn. I'm sorry.
You know what I'm saying? He's not a big fighter as far as personality goes. He was more reserved. He's started to come out of his shell a little more on Twitter now and stuff like that. But he's more reserved, so he doesn't have that personality, and boisterous personality to be embraced like that by the general public. So he had to literally talk with his fist, and he has beaten everybody that he put in front of him. He has accepted all challenges, but now people want to go off the deep end and say, "Oh, he's scared and he's ducking Boots Ennis."
Oh, wow.
They just throw that out whimsically. I feel like you use that term way too much and way too frequently. It's like he's not scared of anybody. These are warriors, men and women that step in the ring to fight. You know, I want to see the fights happen, but I'm not going to be oblivious to the business side of it. You know, it's boxing. Boxing is a combat sport, which means that the combat would refer to the type of fighting that they're doing, which is boxing. The sport of it also encompasses the business side of it, which means that, you know, the business aspect has to be explored. That's why it's called prize fighting, not just fighting. So Terrence Crawford has been abundantly clear that he wants to get the biggest prize, which is money in this regard. So when people are on top of Tim Bradley, who's a you know, I disagree with some stuff that Tim Bradley says, but I agree with this. He said that that Terrence Crawford, he was basically an apologist for Terrence Crawford. He said that Terrence Crawford, it would be better off fighting a YouTuber. Of course, he was talking tongue in cheek, but you know, people want to jump off the deep end and conveniently take things at a literal meaning. Tim Bradley is not advocating for Terrence Crawford to fight a YouTuber like Jake Paul or somebody like that. He's just saying that as far as money goes and revenue generation, Terrence Crawford it would benefit him more to fight a YouTuber than it would to Jaron Boots Ennis, because that's how unknown Boots is. You gotta understand, you gotta take a step back and remove yourself out of the situation. A lot of people that know about Boots is because you're more than a boxing casual. You're a pugilist enthusiast, almost a purist if you know about Boots. Boots is not known like that outside of the boxing circles. You know what I'm saying? So Boots, bro, I challenge any of y'all. You know, I love boxing, man. I would struggle to name 3 people that Boots has fought off the top of my head. Let me think. I know his last fight was a Roman Villa. I know that. He fought Thomas Delorme. He knocked him out. And Van Heerden. I remember that fight because it was a headbutt and it was a stoppage, or well, not a stoppage. It was no contest because of the headbutt. So I can think of some others, but I would have to literally sit down and think about it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just that just goes to show you that he hasn't fought much. You know what I'm saying? So before you get upset and start throwing tantrums, I'm not saying that we don't want Thomas. I said Thomas Delorme, Terrence Crawford to fight Boots. I know I do, but we have to acknowledge what the man has expressed. He articulated very clearly that he wants to get the most money out of his next boxing fights because he is 36 years old. You know, it's funny because thinking about it, has Jaron Boots Ennis fought? Does he even have a Amir Khan caliber fighter on his resume? What? Does he have a Victor Postol caliber fighter on his resume? What? He damn sure don't have a Sean Porter or Carol Brook caliber fighter on his resume. What? These are all people that Terrence Crawford has fought. You see what I'm saying? And beaten. I'm not even gonna say Errol Spence because that was his last fight, and we know that was a pound for pound clash right there. So I'm gonna leave him out of it. So yeah, he's been fought a Sean Porter person on his resume. Does he even have a Jose Benavidez Jr. Caliber fighter on his resume? Yuriokas Gamboa, like what? This man Boots Ennis doesn't have anybody on his resume. Matter of fact, he has Thomas Delorme. I mentioned him before on Boots' resume. Him and Terrence Crawford have that in common. I remember that distinctively, and because I like that fight between him and Terrence Crawford. I think Terrence Crawford got him out of there in like the 5th or 6th round. I can't remember, maybe the 7th. He got him out of there. He knocked him out like the 5th, 6th, or 7th round. I can't remember. I want to say the 5th, but don't quote me. And I know Jaron Boots Ennis, I believe, got him out of there the 1st round. 6 years later. They have a 6-year gap between when they fought this person. So y'all need to stop it, man. We need to stop saying he's ducking. He's not ducking. He wants to get the most money out of his next fights, and that's what it is. So stop it, man. To say he's ducking is crazy. Terrence Crawford is a legend. If he stops fighting right now, he's going down as one of the best in history. We gotta start showing these boxers, at least on this channel, the respect that they deserve, man. Terrence Crawford's not ducking anybody. You want to say Errol Spence? Jaron Boots Ennis is not a bigger threat to Terrence Crawford than Errol Spence was. You know, you might want to say, oh yeah, well I knew he was gonna be. Everybody gonna come on. I knew Terrence Crawford was gonna beat Errol Spence. I knew it. You knew it. How much money did you win off that fight? If you didn't win more than five stacks, I don't want to hear nothing from you. You know, I would say 10K, but I'm gonna drop it down to 5. So if you didn't win at least 5K, you didn't know nothing. You thought Terence Crawford would win, just like a lot of people thought that he had the chance to win. He was gonna win. So a lot of people also thought that ERROL SPENCE would win. Hindsight's 2020. Stop talking like y'all just some prognosticators, some super like you just got prophetic revelations, or you just super intelligent. No, you're not, bro. That was a great fight. You know, it just happened that Terence Crawford blew him out the water. Everybody was surprised by how devastating that butt whooping was and how dominating that was. So let's stop it, man. Terence Crawford and ERROL SPENCE was a bigger threat to Boots Ennis ERROL SPENCE was a bigger threat to Terence Crawford than Boots Ennis. I would even say at the time, Postal was probably just as big of a threat. At the time, Jose Benavidez Jr. was just as big of a threat. So I'll stop it to say Sean Porter was a big of a threat. So Boots has not justified, other than the fact that we desire it because we want to see Boots, because he performs well when we see him, but he performs against people that we don't know also. He has no renown, so he's not going to bring nothing to the table as far as cash revenue goes. But as far as best versus the best, I want to see it. But don't make it seem like Terence Crawford is ducky because he's not fighting, when he has made it abundantly clear and crystal clear that he wants to get the most money out of his next fight. So that's what it is, man. There's plenty of people that will bring more money to the boxing as far as revenue goes to Terence Crawford than Boots will, unfortunately, right now. That's just what it is, man. So I appreciate y'all rocking me as always. Don't forget to like the video. It was a little longer than I anticipated, but I know y'all gonna be on my head top. But hey, it is what it is. But I gotta speak the truth for how I see it. Y'all be easy. God bless. Peace.
From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.